Welcome everyone to week number 3. Can you believe it? We're already here and it is Monday morning, so it is time for us to get started. Let's see what we've got going on. So last week we learned some about the chemistry of life, biochemistry. We learned about the importance of water. Water is in every single cell because it absorbs heat. It also acts as a solvent and it does some other things, but its most important property is that it absorbs heat, and that is heat caused by all the chemistry that's going on in cells. So there has to be something that absorbs all that heat so that cells don't burn up. Carbon, the element that is the backbone of all organic molecules, forms 4 bonds with other atoms or molecules and therefore can make very large, very complex structures. So that's the importance of carbon. And then we took a look at organic molecules, carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids, and you were supposed to find out what each of those groups of organic molecules does. The topic for this week is classification of organisms, and this is terribly important in science and for us as human beings. We do this all the time. We do this from the time that we're born. We classify things. We put things into categories because then this gives us an idea of what this thing does, how it behaves, everything about it. So we classify organisms in science also. The 3 domains that you will learn about this week are the domains eubacteria, which contain true bacteria, all the ones that you would normally come in contact with every week, from the bacteria on your skin, to those in soil, to those that grow in the food in your refrigerator, to the pathogens which cause diseases in us. Those are the eubacteria. And then we have the archaebacteria in the domain archaea, which are found in very extreme environments, down in the depths of the ocean, as far down as we've ever been able to travel in the depths of the ocean, in hot springs, basically in boiling water, in ice, in the saltiest bodies of water on the planet. These are archaebacteria. And then we finally have the domain eukarya. So far, the 2 domains that we've covered contain bacteria. So the domain eukarya contains everything else that's living on the planet. So the eukaryotes, as we call them, include the plants, the animals, of which we are one, the fungi, and the protist, which includes algae, paramecium, etc., things like that. What's important here is that bacteria are very different in their cell structures from the other organisms, the eukaryotes. So we have prokaryotes, which include all the bacteria, and eukaryotes, which are everything else, plants, animals, fungi, and protists. This is important, and I'll mention this again in a minute. The chapters for you to read are Chapter 20, Section 1, and Chapter 4 in your Open Stacks textbook, Biology 2nd edition. Remember, it is free. Please go and use it. I'm telling you exactly what to read this week. Look at the Module 3 overview and watch the videos. They're very cool. I love the one about the microbiome because, of course, I'm a microbiologist. And so the microbiome and the human microbiome are all the tiny microscopic organisms that live in and on us. And we have very different ones in different locations in our bodies. You find a whole different set of bacteria and other microbes in our ears versus our belly buttons versus our large intestine versus skin on our scalp, etc. So it is very cool to think about that, all the microbes that are in and on us. I'm also going to link an awesome experiment by Harvard Medical School, I believe it is, on antibiotic resistance in bacteria and how fast this happens and how quickly bacteria mutate. This is an 11-day study, and I do want you to watch this video because it is absolutely amazing, and part of your discussion is about antibiotic resistance. So please do watch that. Okay, the discussion board postings this week. Remember, your initial post is due on Thursday night, by Thursday night, and your 2 response posts are due by Sunday night. So this is what you're going to talk about in your discussion board postings. Why antibiotics target bacterial cells and not ours. If you think about it, an antibiotic is a chemical that you take into your body, whether by a shot or by a pill or by liquid by mouth or whatever. These are chemicals that are designed to kill bacteria. But the other important characteristic that they have is they don't kill you. You know, I can load you up with enough arsenic to kill all the bacteria in you. The only problem is the arsenic's going to kill you too. So, you know, that doesn't usually work for people. I don't usually like the idea of that. So antibiotics kill bacterial cells, but not ours. So how does that work? How do these chemicals work? The key is the difference in our cells. So bacterial cells have very different structures from our cells, and that's why you're studying about cell structures this week. This is one reason, to help you realize that these targets for these antibiotics are different in bacterial cells from our cells. For example, bacteria have cell walls. We do not. Bacteria have different ribosomes from us, etc., etc. So do take a look at that and do some research. Then you're also going to discuss how the use of antibiotics is leading to more and faster antibiotic resistance. I will say that, including making superbugs like MRSA, which is methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, which is not untreatable yet, but I imagine someday it will be, because bacteria can mutate and evolve faster than we can produce new antibiotics. So I'm just saying, there are a few species of bacteria in the world right now that are pathogenic, that cause disease, that are right on the verge of not being treatable because they are so antibiotic resistant. So do some research on that. What are the things that we do to help cause antibiotic resistance? I know we've had some discussions on the discussion board already from a couple of people who have talked about this in their line of work. So this is going to be an interesting discussion board this week. And you know I'm going to be in the middle of it, so watch out for that. You're also going to begin your final project. So if you're going to do a final project that has a different topic from the ones that I'm going to show you in just a second, you must get approval for that, because I'm seeing some topics that are just maybe not quite there when it comes to a final project for this course. So I'll be talking to you if you have sent me a message, if I haven't done that already. Otherwise, choose a topic that's in the list that I'm going to show you in just a minute. And make sure you use the guidelines and rubric for milestone 1. So you've got a final project, which is a big presentation with lots of slides and speaker's notes and everything, that's due in week 7 of this term, right? And it's about this topic that you have chosen. You're going to research it thoroughly and tell me all about the laws that have to do with it, and what's the biology behind it, and how this thing, you know, water pollution, relates to growth and development, reproduction, evolution, whatever your biology topics are that relate to it. So you got this big project. Okay, it is broken down into 3 milestones. Your first milestone is due at the end of this week. A milestone is a part of the final project. Okay, so this is the preliminary stuff. So the introduction. Where does this topic happen? How does it happen? Who does it affect? That sort of thing. So follow the milestone 1 guidelines and rubric for this week. This is what it looks like. This is the first page of it. This is not all of it, but I just want to point out the topics here. Population ecology, that one's okay. Air pollution, if you're interested in that, especially depending on the area of the country that you live in. Water pollution, the energy crisis, alternative forms of energy, eutrophication, which is the aging out or change in bodies of water, the human population and what is happening to it across the world, genetic modification in all kinds of different settings, everything from crop plants and and livestock to human beings. Deforestation, a terribly important topic these days. The Amazon rainforest is being cut and burned at an astronomical rate right now, and Brazil is not helping matters at all because it is basically not against the law to do this, and in fact the government is encouraging it. Biodiversity and loss of biodiversity, endangered species, you can separate those if you want. Global warming and climate change, of course, that's a big topic in environmental science now. Waste management, but there are others. I mean, I thought of one the other day, light pollution. That is such an important topic these days. We are wasting so much energy shining lights in the middle of the night on car lots and grocery store parking lots, etc., 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 even in our homes, outside our homes. Yes, there are safety issues here, but there are also lights that turn on and turn off if there's motion. So I'm just saying there are solutions to this. But if you back off into outer space, you can see how much light is being produced by human beings for no particular reason except to shine light in the darkness. So light pollution is one that's not on this list that is an excellent topic. Otherwise, if you choose one other topic that's not on the list, make sure you get this approved. Okay, and it shows you right here what you need to include in this milestone 1. Number 1, the introduction. You should have your sections labeled. This is not an essay. Repeat, this is not an essay. You are going to write this in outline form, and so you have to have the section headings. If you don't, then how do I know that you know what you're covering? Okay, I'm just saying, you have to have the section headings. Number 1, introduction. Number 2, topic. A, where? Where does this happen? Which ecosystem? Does it happen in the whole biosphere? Does it happen in really small, tiny places like in ponds? That would be eutrophication. Where does this happen? How? So you see what you're doing? You're answering the questions here, but keeping it in section format. All right, the tip of the week is to put your assignments into the correct format. The only way to know this is to look at the guidelines, because every week the guidelines may be different. For milestone 2, you're going to submit a Word document, and it tells you, use double spacing, and that makes it easier for me to read. Don't make crazy margins. I mean, 2-inch margins, really. Come on now. Or 1/8 of an inch on each side. Come on now. Just so you fit things on a page. Just make everything reasonable. Wouldn't that make sense? But make this in outline form and provide references and resources, a minimum of 3 for every one of these milestones that you turn in. So just know that you're doing research on your topic 2 already at the beginning. You have to, otherwise you won't know anything about the topic. Okay, so that's your tip of the week. Put everything in the correct format. And how do you do that? Read the instructions, which makes sense. As always, if you need any help, if you have any questions whatsoever, I am here for you. m.sigmon@snhu.edu. I will answer you as quickly as possible. Some days I answer faster than others, but I always answer within 24 hours. Absolutely. Also, I have weekly office hours every Sunday night from 6 to 7. I do this on Sunday night because I know that most people are doing their work at the last minute. I know, I understand. I completely understand. But that's why I have my office hours on Sunday evening in case you need to stop by and ask me something. You don't have to stay for the whole hour. You can stay for 1 minute and just drop in and say, "Hey, Dr. Sigmon, how you doing?" Anyway, it is my time on the internet. You can count on me being there, and I can meet with you and answer questions and that sort of thing. Okay? Let me know if you need anything. I hope that you have a wonderful, great week. I hope it's sunny where you are and it's not a blizzard and it's getting to be spring because it sure is here. Hope you have a wonderful week. Oh, I forgot one last thing. I want to introduce you to the three amigos. I got myself a potted plant right there. It's actually three little succulents together, so I'm calling them the three amigos. They're sending you good vibrations your way. Have a wonderful week, everybody.